Deion Sanders used to make fun of me all the time. He said, Rosie, you and John Smoltz are the guys who have the biggest asses of anybody I've either played or worked with.
That's good company, dude. John Schmaltz got those pitcher quad things. This is coming from someone who is I'm butt challenged. I have no butt. I go straight spine to butthole. I have no butt. So I'm like
Welcome to episode number 156 of the Chris Rose Rotation, a production of John Boy Media and presented to you by our friends over at SeatGeek. And today, literally taking a seat in his car, Tyler Glasnow from the Tampa Bay Rays. Did I get you in the fast food drive-through line?
No, I just came out of the gym and I just got out of the sauna, so I'm sweating my beak off, just sitting in the parking lot hanging out. I have a bunch of stuff I got to do too, after. Well, not really, so I'm just trying to fill time. So I'm probably just gonna drive around and go get my suitcase. I gotta go to the grocery store, and then I gotta go home and watch baseball.
Are you still in Florida?
Yeah, I'll be here I'll travel around. I'm going to New York next week. And then I'll go to Cabo on the 28th for Matt Duffy's bachelor party.
Oh,
yeah, that'll be fun. I'm really excited for that. And then the week after is his wedding in Arizona, so I'll stay in Arizona for a bit, and then come back, and then go, and then come back, and I'll go to a bunch of different places.
Wow. I'm not going to ask you where you guys are staying, but I imagine it's pretty sweet.
It's just I don't even know what area. It's just it's like a villa. Forgot where. It's kind of by downtown. I don't think it's in it's obviously in a gated community. I just don't know the name of it.
Okay, let's just be careful. I've talked to you about Cabo before.
Yes, it's fun, dude.
No, it is fun, but you have, please. There are times.
I know. We'll be good.
Who else is going?
Should I disclose it? Maybe. I don't know. I'm sure no one would care. It's like Duffy, Brasseau's going. I think Hicks is going if they're not in the World Series. Depends. There's some other, and I forgot who else is going. I'm on a group chat with a bunch of people. I don't know. I'm sure I'll see them. I don't have their numbers.
All right.
Because Hicks and Duffy are from the same area too. I think they grew up together.
Are you supposed to provide any of the entertainment?
No, I don't think as far as what adult entertainment. I don't think Duffy's really that vibe. I don't want to do that to him. I think his dad's coming too.
Oh God, the dads are the best, man.
It's the best. Yeah, my dad went to my brother's as well. It's fun. It's good to have a mix of people. Yeah, my dad's more fun than me and my brother put together. So it's it was fitting.
How'd your pops do? Do you think you were more embarrassed to have your dad at a bachelor party, or do you think he was more embarrassed to be there?
I think generally it'd be weird, but everyone who knows my dad's of course your dad's coming to the bachelor party, and then my dad's of course I'm coming to the. I think he asked you. He's you sure you want me to come? I was yes, I do. I would like you to come. Carly's dad came too, and he's the funnest person ever. So it was if they were dweebs, I think I wouldn't have invited them, but they're both a very very good time. So it was they fit right in.
And for people that haven't followed the story completely, Tyler's brother is Ted, and Ted's wife is Carly. Yeah. So Carly's dad is now Ted's father-in-law. So that's how we're just all going to piece it together. You said you've got some other travels. Are you going anywhere else internationally? Because I know you love to travel.
I think we're thinking about. I definitely will at some point. I think the 22nd, December 22nd to January 4th. I think we're going to go to Europe. Maybe Portugal, Amsterdam, Paris, maybe Sweden, or do London, Paris, Italy. I don't know though. It's 2 weeks, so I'll try and figure. I want to go to Portugal pretty bad, so I think we'll fly into Lisbon and then go from there.
I forget. I mean, I know you've traveled extensively. Have you been to all those places before?
I've never been to Portugal, so I want to go. I've been to Paris, been to Amsterdam. No, I've never been to Switzerland. I haven't been to London, but I've been and I've been to Copenhagen and those places, but I'm trying to go to all the spots that I haven't hit. But a lot of times the flights kind of work out. You go to Paris and then I kind of want to take the train around. So it's an open plan. We'll figure it out at some point.
Yeah. You know what? Emotionally, I could totally see you staying in a hostel, but
I did that when I went to Europe a couple years ago.
I was going to say, but now that you just upped the ante with the contract extension, we want nothing to do with that, please.
Yeah. No, I won't do any hostels. It's dangerous. It's scary. Have you seen that movie?
No, I couldn't bring myself to see it because it would scare the hell out of me.
It's tacky. It's old, and When I remember it first came out, I was like, I'm not doing that. That's scary. And then I saw it recently, like a year or two ago, and I was like, that's not a good movie. It's just like not it.
Oh my goodness, that's great. All right, I know you would much rather be preparing to face the New York Yankees in the divisional round, but it has been such a long journey for you. It was great to see you back. You made 3 starts, 2 coming in Cleveland, 1 at Fenway. The second one in Cleveland was in Game 2 of the wild card round, and you were utterly fantastic. How excited were you to be out there?
It was awesome. It was really cool that I think early on, I'd answered this before, like people are asking. I think it was, I don't know. In my mind early, it was like, I'm not coming back this year. There's no chance. And I think as I progressed, I felt good. And I got on the mound for my first bullpen and was like accidentally throwing 93. It's like, there's a chance I could come back. I thought I was throwing like nothing, and it was 93. And my arm felt fine. And so I was like, okay, I think I'm a little ahead of where I maybe like thought I would be. And then I just kept building up, and like I was like 3 bullpens in, and I was hitting like 97. And so I was like, hey, there's a chance. And I think they early on were like, looks pretty sharp. Like I was always in the strike zone. It felt good. My secondary stuff took a bit longer. But I think once that became, it was like kind of a real thing. And then it was in my mind, I feel like I was like, all right, I'm going to come back. And it was always very vague about it because I was trying to like leave room for like maybe there was a setback or something. But I think after the first couple of bullpens, I was like, I kind of knew I was coming back.
The
I don't know if I answered your question.
It did. No,
okay,
totally. It did.
Right,
the announcers, I thought they were amazed because I listened to all 3 of your starts, and they were like, you have to remember, like, he's still coming back. He's still rehabbing, essentially, at the major league level, and he's getting the best hitters in the world out, and with the pressure of a wild card game, on top of it all. How much did you surprise yourself?
Listen, I don't want to sound cocky, but I did it. Like I didn't expect to like come in and do bad. I think if that was my mindset, I'd been like, maybe I'll wait till next year. I think the way how sharp I felt, I think before I got hurt last year, something happened with me physically and mentally or whatever, where like I feel like I finally put it all together. And I feel like mechanically, I was like, I know exactly what I need to do to be good. And ever since like before that point, it was always like tinkering, and I'll still tinker, but I never had like a very true baseline. I never got to the point where I could trust my stuff. I was always kind of like, okay, today I feel like I'm drifting. Maybe I should kind of lower my, like all that, the different adjustments you have to make. And then I finally got to the point where I was like, okay, I know what I need to do. Even when I feel bad, like I can go back to this and this will always work. And then I felt like when I started throwing, I picked up right where I left off. And then like, as I started doing my rehab stuff and going against live hitters, I had like figured something else to where it was like I doubled down of like, this is exactly what I know I need to do to be good. And even when I wasn't like super duper sharp, it was always in the zone and always competitive metric wise compared to like the average or like a little bit. So it was like, okay, even if I'm not stellar, I'm still above average. So I might as well just do this. And I think as my stuff got like sharper and as I got to playing more games, my metrics just continued to climb and climb and climb. And then I stopped thinking about it, and it was just game time. And I think I really did not feel any part of my brain was like, okay, I'm rehabbing. Like it was the same exact feelings of what I was in the postseason in 19 and 20, but just a little less nervous because I'd done it a couple times. And I think with knowing that I had like all those things solidified, it made it less nerve-wracking for me because most of my energy would be spent on like trying to figure out how to like where to put my body to throw strikes, and that was kind of eliminated now for me to where it was like now I just go compete and think about game plan.
Chris Rose Rotation presented to you by our friends over at Win Reality. That is the VR baseball training application. It's available on MetaQuest 2, and it gives players access to unlimited game speed reps no matter where you are. Now, one of the tough things about baseball is like, how do I get better? I don't want to hire a hitting coach. I don't have a friend that throws 88 with movement. That's where Win Reality can help you out because it has a library that consists of 600-plus pitchers from 8U all the way up to the major leagues. You get to work on the release, the spin, the speed, so hitters get a chance to study every pitch they hit in real game time. Win Reality also gives players of all levels a variety of workouts. They're focused on pitch recognition, timing, decision-making. So who's using this thing? A majority of the MLB teams, including Paul Goldschmidt, had a pretty good season. Might walk away with the NL MVP. You got a lot of colleges across the nation, hundreds of them, that are investing in this platform as well. So hitters love it. Coaches love it. Parents love it because I'm a parent. I love watching little Brady always improve. He uses Win Reality. He's going to get even better. It is a revolutionary tool that improves hitting in the real game of baseball, in season, off season, no matter where you go. And you can use your own bat at the very same time. So here's what I need you to do. winreality.com/Rose. Sign up today. Improve your game. And who knows, maybe I'll be talking to you here on the Rose Rotation. So you ended up pitching what ended up being the final game of the season for the Rays, right? You went, I believe, the first 5 innings of a game that was 0-0 into the 15th inning. When you came out of the game, how nerve-wracking was it for you just to be a fan in the dugout?
There's like 2 sides to it, because when you're done pitching, like whether a pitcher's going to relieve it or admit it or not, it's like there's a huge wave of relief. It's like I am no longer in control of fucking this game up. So like that step one was great. I got in, went 5 innings. I felt like I could go longer. I knew I wasn't going to. That would be stupid. I got out of the game. I felt sharp. I was like, so one side of me was very much like, all right, cool. I did it. Like, we're in a spot. It's 0-0. I gave my team a chance to win 5 innings. Nice. Way to go. And the other side of it, like, I remember sitting next to McClanahan too. And like the more innings that go by, the more it's like when you're driving with a psycho and you're in the passenger seat and they're not driving, you know, and you're like, oh, you want to take control and you can't. That starts to creep in. And I was sitting next to McClanahan all game and he was just like, dude, I'm going to throw up. Like, he was so like handled it so well to pitch. Like, didn't phase him at all. It was great. And he was just sitting in the dugout. We were like pacing back and forth in the clubhouse. It was that. And then it started to like kind of unfold into this like, oh shit. And I like forgot I pitched. It took so long. So it was like, everyone was like, you pitched today? Like, it seems like that was forever ago. So it was like a 5-hour game.
When the season ends, I mean, at the end of the day, there's only one team that's throwing its mitts in the air and jumping like they just, you know, won something in Little League. But when it's that sudden, in a walk-off variety, and like when Oscar Gonzalez swings that bat, are you like immediately walking into the tunnel? Are you one of those guys that watches the team celebrate?
I'm out. I'm like, all right, we lose, and I leave. Like I'm going to sit there for what? Like watch them get all happy? I don't know. I don't know if that would make me feel bad. I don't think it'd make me feel anything. I think it's like, okay, job's done. We're going inside, and it sucks, but I'm a big like rip the Band-Aid off, go inside, sit down, do what you got to do, and then say all your goodbyes. And that's a feeling that I've done more than I'd like to.
What are the goodbyes like? Because there's guys that have been in that clubhouse for a long time that you know aren't coming back.
Right. They're always very sad in the sense of, like you said, you don't know if you're going to see anyone. I think there's like certain people, whether anyone will admit it or not, like maybe you can't tell, but there's definitely some guys that are like very relieved, or just like maybe we're kind of checked out towards the end of the season, or maybe don't like have a solidified spot. Kind of like you can tell there's, and this is on any team. And I just don't think people talk about this. It's like, okay, season's over. Like it sucks in the moment, but it's like you get this there's a little party that's like, okay, I don't have to stress about this shit anymore. And I think for me, it was very much like, what the fuck? Like I was angry. Like I was like, it just seemed like I started and I was like getting going, and then I was like, what? Like now I don't. What the fuck? Like I had 3 starts. Like that was really hard for me to just be like, hey, I guess I'm done. Like I wanted to go like something. I don't know, go play winter ball, or like I just didn't want to stop pitching. But I think looking around and like seeing people that like are genuinely like very upset also sucks a lot. But it's a mixed bag of emotions. I think everyone will tell you they're like upset, but you can really, really see it on people. When you see it on people who are genuine, like put their all into it all season long, and like feel like they came up short or didn't contribute or something, that's the worst feeling. You can like really empathize with them, and like you're in the same boat, and it sucks. And then you have to go home and watch. It sucks.
Did you say anything to Corey Kluber?
No, I gave him a hug and just said like, great season. Like it was an awesome time being with him, because he was like such a good presence in our clubhouse. We don't have a bunch of veterans, and he was so good for like all of our young pitchers, and like me included, in Raz and McClanahan and Springs, and he really was kind of like the glue. And he's just father Kluber, you know, and like I just gave him a hug and said, like, you did great. And Corey's not a very, like, he's not going to, I'm obviously he feels bad. That's a weird situation for him being from Cleveland, pitching all those years and then having that happen. But I think you kind of have to be able to zoom out. I don't know what he is like feeling internally, but for me, if you zoom out, it's like, dude, you haven't pitched in the bullpen since 2011. You came in, you did well. You gave one pitch. First pitch, I believe, right, of the at bat.
I think it was the second. He hit
second pitch.
Yeah, he got a slider. He did not get a good call on the first one, and he had to move it back inside a little.
It's like, well, how you can't blame yourself. And he's a competitor, and I know it's like it didn't feel good, but for me, it's like, dude, what you can't. It's your 15th inning game, like 2 innings. What can you do? Like, it's just you kind of have to move on. And I don't know how he feels internally, but I appreciate everything he's done for the team, and I'm sure he's upset, but he's a pretty stoic dude, you know.
Well, I just want to say this, and I tweeted it out. Obviously, listen, I was super excited. I was jumping around, screaming, watching with my youngest son, and but I tweeted out afterward that I felt so terribly that it came off of that dude because he has meant so much to my team, and what he did in 2016. You probably don't even remember this, but our rotation at that time was decimated. Carrasco, right before the end of the regular season, took a line drive and like broke a bone in his wrist or something. Bauer had the drone incident. So we were down to 3 starting pitchers, essentially. So Kluber was pitching like short rest constantly, ran out of gas against the Cubs in the World Series. And, I mean, look what he did. He won 2 freaking Cy Young Awards, gave us some of the greatest performances we've ever seen, and I just felt terribly for him. And
yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, it is tough. Yeah. Did you go up to Kiermaier at all? Because, I mean, he's a guy who's been with this organization since he was drafted, and he knows that this is essentially it for him there.
Yeah, we'll always, like, chat about that stuff, and I feel like every time I see him in the dugout and he was there, and, like, I obviously gave him a hug goodbye, but he's in Tampa, I'm in Tampa. I'll probably see him at some point this offseason. I know they gave him a farewell and stuff, but in my mind, I'm like, sign him back. What are we doing? Like, I don't know, like, I'm sure I don't know financially he's going to make money somewhere else. I don't know where that, but in my mind, until he signs somewhere else, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe there's still hope for him to come back because he's really big to the clubhouse. He's an awesome dude. But yeah, we'll talk in the off season. We'll text. So I'm sure I'll meet up with him and stuff.
Okay. What, I'm curious. I know that you pop in and out of the playoffs now in the off season. We had the Joe Musgrove incident the other day where they were rubbing down his ears. Would you ever let an umpire touch your ears?
I don't know if I have a choice then. I think if you say no, it's like you look guilty. But I'd be like, what the fuck are we doing? And the umpire would be like, yeah, this is dumb. Like, it's, you know what I mean? It's like in the situation, he's just doing what he's told. I think that was a bit strange. Like, that just looks weird. Like, you're not going to find anything. And, like, I don't know. It was a weird managerial decision in my mind. It seemed a bit strange. Like, you're just kind of desperate. Joe handled it well, and he looked very stoic when it first happened too. He was just like, all right, whatever. And I think as like he got going and he like did the fucking Kenny Powers thing, that was awesome. I watch it, and I know Joe obviously from Pittsburgh, and I like kind of had a feeling he was like, what is going on? And I think ever that moment I was like, all right, game's over. He's not going to pitch bad now. I think it was just you just ruffled his feathers, like, and it's just embarrassing too. Like if you have to know for certain. It's just I don't know. It just seems dumb. I think there has to be. If you go out there and check and there's nothing, then like what happens to the manager? Can you just do that all the time?
That's the problem. There's no repercussions. It's a no-lose situation. I say at minimum you lose a challenge. And because now everybody's going to think, and there have been some in the media, including people that I consider friends, who have called Joe Musgrove a cheater. And I think it's so unfair. If they go out and they check you and they can't find anything, just because they checked you doesn't mean that you cheated.
Right. Yeah,
it's
dumb.
Off.
That's why I think that's what the frustration comes from. It's like you put him in a kind of a lose-lose, like an embarrassing situation. There's always going to be two sides of. Some people are going to believe it, some people aren't. And I think if you're a Mets fan, you're already just like biasly like cheater. Like we didn't lose, Joe cheated. So it's just like they're not. There's no logic behind it. It's just that's why I feel bad for Joe. But he's like, if there's anyone who can just be like, whatever, it's Joe. But at the same time, it's just kind of it's messed up to me. It's like you don't like you said, there has to. I think like a minimum of losing a challenge is probably good. I think that's a nice little something. But
a little
it's just
something.
annoying. Yeah.
A little parting gift.
Good evening, afternoon, or good night, whenever you're listening to this podcast. It is an urgent message from DraftKings. The NFL action is in full swing at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and we're talking touchdowns, big plays, and even bigger wins. And new customers can bet just $5 on any team to win and get $200 in free bets if they do. Check this out. In addition to the usual bets, everyone can boost their winnings with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. You're going to want to get into this. This week, Thursday Night Football, Commanders are playing the Bears. Montgomery's scoring a touchdown for the Bears. Fields, get him a rushing touchdown. He's scoring a rushing touchdown for the Bears. Take the Bears -1. That's it. 3 great picks right there, and use it with the stepped-up same-game parlay. To make things even sweeter, you can throw down on a stepped-up same-game parlay once per game day all season long. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code ROSE to get $200 in free bets if your team wins when you place a $5 bet on any football game. That's promo code ROSE only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Now back to the show.
A couple other things and get you back on your way. A lot of people think that Aaron Judge is going to run away with the MVP, in part because some people say, well, Shohei, what are we going to do? Give it to him every year? What would you do based on what we've seen? Judge. You would give it to Judge?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I'd give it to Judge. See, okay, this is interesting. I was talking to Q about this as well. I think when you frame the question of like, who's the most, that's what's weird. I just said that, now I'm backtracking. But it's like, who would you rather have on your team, Shohei Ohtani or Aaron Judge? Shohei Ohtani. I'd rather have a guy who can do both. But the season that Judge has put together, I don't know, man. Like, I think as far as value goes in 1 year, that year, like, I think Judge has to get it. And I don't even know if it's going to be close. And it should, but I don't know.
I'm going to make one point.
All right.
The year that Shohei Ohtani had at the plate is essentially what Mookie Betts did.
Yeah.
The year that Shohei Ohtani had on the mound is essentially what Corbin Burns had last year when he won the Cy Young.
Yeah. But then what about this year? Aaron Judge had 62 home runs, 311 with 100-something. Like,
I get it, but wouldn't you like to have either Mookie Betts or Corbin Burns on your team?
Yeah, I know.
And what if you could have them in one package?
I know. It's hard. And I guess, too, I am leaning towards Judge just because, like, the history and it just doing it in Yankee Stadium, I think you have to consider that as well. Like, Shohei's doing it. He would do it on any team, but doing it for the Angels is just a losing team. Judge is doing it, trying to break a record while in a postseason team. While that adds some mustard, that adds a little something onto it, I think. But that's a really good point. I don't know how to, and I'm glad I don't have to vote. So I don't know.
I'm just always curious since you guys play against them.
Right. Who's I think, and I'm maybe biased. I wouldn't let this like sway my voting, but like he's so awesome. I love him. I played with him in the fall. He's such a phenomenal human. And Shohei looks like a great dude too, but I love Judge. Judge is an awesome dude. So that's not how you should vote, but I think 62 home runs, 311 with however many RBIs and great defense. I don't know. I think you kind of have to give it to him. Who has a higher WAR altogether?
Judge. Well, but here's the thing: Shohei gets penalized because he's a DH.
Yeah, you're right.
And I guess if that's the way you want to create WAR, I mean, then yeah, penalize a guy because he doesn't play the field, but he freaking pitches. So it's like I don't know. Right. It's just hard.
But you're also adding the season of pitching with the season of being a DH.
Yes.
So that's he could go play defense. I think that wouldn't be a good idea. But like at the same time, he got his WAR from pitching. He got his WAR from being a DH. So if it doesn't equal whatever, and that's not like the end all be all of finding value, but it's a pretty good measurement, I'd say.
Do you have any interest in pitching in the World Baseball Classic?
Yeah, I don't think I will. I don't think they're going to let me, but I'm going to like a limited pitch count. So essentially I'd be going there and wasting my innings. Not wasting, it's great and all, but like I want to win a World Series. I want to like win and be in like I feel like I'm I was signed to the Rays to play for the Rays, and if I'm on a limited pitch count, I think I'm limiting. Say I can throw however many. I don't know how much I'm going to throw next year, but hypothetically, like 140. I can't. I'm going to go for 20 innings in the World Baseball Classic. Then that takes away from the innings I can throw in season and in the postseason. So I would absolutely love to. I saw Mark DeRosa in the airport going to a AAA game, and I waved to him, and we talked for a little bit, and we kind of talked about it a little bit, and it would be awesome. But I just don't think it'd be like very like logical decision as far as like health goes. I think I could handle it, but I think at the same time it just looks a little weird. Maybe in 4 years I'll do it, but I just don't think the Rays would. I don't even think they'd tell me not to. I just think it'd be like, I don't know. I'd feel weird if I even asked.
You're a good company, man. You are.
There you go. I think just because it's the Rays. I think if this was another organization or something, I'd be like, fine, I'm going to the World Baseball Classic.
You love them, though.
The Rays?
Yes.
Everyone loves it. If you play for the Rays, you love the Rays. It's typically how it goes. I really don't know anyone who played there and been like, I don't like it here. Like, they do a very good job of making players feel that way. So I do feel that, like, like I want to do this for you and for the team. But if I was at a place I wasn't happy, I'd be like, sign me up.
I love that. I love that. Are you coming out to visit Ted and Carly at all in Santa Barbara or no?
Yeah, so they're going to Matt's wedding as well, and that's on the 5th or something, 5th or 6th, I think, of November. And then I'll go Thanksgiving we're doing in Santa Barbara.
Huh?
I'll be there from like the 23rd to 26th. We're going to do it at their house. So I'll probably go before, hang out with them, and then stay a bit after. Or maybe go down to, in Santa Barbara. So maybe we'll go to LA or something after if you guys will be in town. Look at that.
I mean, we have to make this happen. I think you're the no, I don't think I've met Trevor May in person. Maybe I did. I think you're the only one maybe I haven't seen in person, right? We haven't seen each other in person.
No. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Do you think I'm short or
do you, Thanksgiving?
Do you think I'm short or do you think I'm short or tall?
I would assume you're like, I'm going to say like 5'11", 5'10".
Ooh.
Or are you taller than that?
I'm 6 feet.
Oh, all right. Well, then there you go.
Yeah.
Big
height. Ass, though. You'll see me waddling from a ways away.
Nice.
So
you should ask me that. Do you think I have a big ass or a small ass? I'd say a medium, small butt.
No, huge badonkadonk.
Huge ass?
Huge. Oh,
nice.
yeah. It is. Deion Sanders used to make fun of me all the time. He said, Rosie, you and John Smoltz are the guys who have the biggest asses of anybody I've either played or worked with.
That's good company, dude. John Schmaltz got those pitcher quad things. This is coming from someone who is I'm butt challenged. I have no butt. I go straight spine to butthole. I have no butt. So I'm like so I get a little like, wow, you're lucky you have a butt, I get made fun of all the time, all my friends. Keep me honest. They're like, dude, what the fuck? Like, what? It's bad. I do all my glute raises, everything. Doesn't work. Doesn't matter.
Really? It's just a
Nothing.
little
no butt.
Flat
and
ass?
Greg too. Greg's got no butt. He's got a pear butt. It's the same thing. It's just a genetic thing. No one in our family has a butt except for Ted. Ted's got a donk. He's got from like squatting or genetically. I don't know. But Ted's got like runner legs, sprinter legs.
What a great way to end this.
Yep.
Travel safely over the next several weeks, and let's catch up at some point in the offseason. I know people love hearing from you because you're just, dude, you've got it all dialed in, man. You really do.
Thank you.
I'm happy for you. It was great watching, and I just want to let you know, it was painful watching game 2. It was hard for me. Like when I found out you were starting, I was like, oh yeah. People were like,
shut up. You love it. They're so glad they won.
I am. I'm thrilled. But Boog Shambi, who called the game for ESPN, actually asked during the broadcast. He said, you and Hedges were going against each other. He goes, I wonder who he's rooting for. And so I texted him during the broadcast. I'm like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Even Glasnow knows who I'm rooting for.
Yeah, come on. You got to stay loyal.
Yeah. So don't take it personally. That's all.
I don't. I would take it personally, or I'd be offended if you said like, well, Tyler, no, you got to stick with your hometown team. I've known you for how many years? You've been a hometown fan for a lot of years. Your loyalty lies there. Yeah. And it should never change. Yeah.
Yep. Well, listen, go have fun, whether it's overseas or at Duffy's bachelor party or Duffy's wedding or whatever. And when you come out here or to LA in Thanksgiving, let's finally have the meeting in person. Let's break bread.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, let me know what you're going to be doing for Thanksgiving or whatever. We'll come down to LA.
I appreciate it, brother. It's great seeing you. Special shout out to our producer extraordinaire, the one and only Robbie Scirocco. For Tyler Glasnow, live from his car, I am Chris Rose. We'll see you next time on the Chris Rose rotation of production. Whoa! Hey! You didn't drive off the road. You okay?
No, I'm good. I'm parked. It was between the wheel. We're fine, guys. Everything's good.
Okay. Thanks for tuning in to the Rose rotation of production of John Boy Media.